Hello, and thank you for joining me in the Rebel Reset Show, where I hope to bring you a quick, thought-provoking nugget that might improve your day. And if we haven't met yet, I'm Catherine LaBelle. I'm a certified professional coach, and you can find out more about me and how I work with clients on my website at rebelmindsetcoach.com. Other than that, let's jump right in because today's subject is pretty big, a little ambitious for a 10-minute quick show here, but let's take a bite-sized piece because I work with a lot of people. We're all grown-ups and we all have families, and we are all still figuring out how to deal with our families. And it's complicated, right? So, and there's almost a defense mechanism. You know, we all joke about how you can complain about your mother, but if anyone says anything about your mother, you'll full on punch them. Kind of the same thing. So when I bring up family, some people will, either with a one-on-one client or just in a workshop, people will sometimes sit back and they're thinking, well, there's nothing wrong, or they might even say, there's nothing wrong with my family. I had a great childhood and it's very supportive. And that is awesome. I mean, that's the best response that I can get. But what I find is maybe in a private discussion or further into the workshop, it comes out that overall that's the opinion. But when you start to dig a little deeper, there's that one family member that gets under your skin really quickly, or a darker time in your family's history that everyone's gotten over, but it was tough to get through, and maybe not everybody was as supportive as you had hoped. And that's all quite normal. That is true for every family. Some families have been more productive than others. Some family members get along better than others. But everyone struggles to make it all work. And everyone's always growing and developing, and sometimes at different paces. So you're constantly renegotiating your place in your family. And that's tough. That's tough to do. That's tough for any relationship to bear. And you can't break up with your family. I mean, you can, but it's a more complicated thing to break up with your family, and most people don't want to do that. And everyone who's involved, if it's a small family or a large family, there are layers and layers of emotions and history and relationships and understanding and lack of understanding. So knowing where you fit in it takes work. So that's why I'm bringing it up. We're not going to solve anything today, but I just wanted to make sure, because I do find that most everybody does eventually want to talk about what's going on in their family when they feel like they can have a safe discussion about it. I thought, let's at least say some things out loud so nobody feels isolated. If you're having some of these thoughts and no one's ever discussed it with you, you won't feel alone or crazy. We're all a little crazy, and our families are really crazy. So that's okay. It's how do you make it the best you can make it now? So part of it is, as adults, we weren't always an adult. So our family may, or certain family members may still be seeing us as the little kid, picturing us in diapers. We don't really know how to talk for ourselves yet. We've made mistakes in front of our family, and so we may or may not feel like we're being treated like adults. That's one thing. Another thing is we tend to come into our interactions with our own preconceived notions, right? Some of them can be funny. We always say, at Thanksgiving, that uncle always gets drunk, and this, my family member who always interrupts, or, I can never get a word in edgewise, or this one's hilarious. I can't wait to see what scandalous thing she's going to say. I mean, those are really fun to talk about, but it is evidence that we all are coming to that day or a phone call or an interaction expecting certain behaviors. And, we bring the behaviors too. So if everyone's coming to the party or the interaction expecting certain things, harboring resentment, waiting for certain behaviors, waiting for a fight, it sort of plays out, right? It's almost inevitable that it's going to work out that way. We aren't going to be able to change our family members dramatically. That's like changing the whole village, right? But if you can be mindful about how you're responding in the moment, you might be able to shift things a little bit. So try to notice if you are acting like the little sister, or acting like the grandchild, or the distant cousin, more than you are acting like the grown-up that you are. It'd be surprising, I think, for us all to see a video played back of how we acted with family members versus how we acted in a different environment with our peers, our colleagues. And so that is a place where we do have control in our family dynamic. We can control ourselves. And if there is definitely this sort of split personality thing that happens where we will always be the ranking of the sibling, like the little sister or the older brother. You will always be the grandchild. You will always be the daughter. And if that side of you exists in the interaction, and you also are the grown-up who's quite capable and handles things differently, there's this almost flickering split personality that's going on the entire time you're with your family, and it's exhausting and sometimes conflicting in your brain so much that you're disagreeing with both sides of you that day. So I'm saying all this because it does take work to notice it first, and then second, do something about it. But again, that is where you have some control. So if you can listen to yourself the next time you're on the phone or in front of family members and notice if you are changing significantly, and if you're changing in a way that you actually aren't comfortable with, then maybe you can start to reconcile your adult self a little bit better with your family and present that side more frequently. If you just be aware of it, you make it top of mind so that you gauge your reactions a little more carefully and don't fall into old behaviors. And you may not only retrain yourself, but you may retrain the family members around you a little bit so that they start to expect more of you as an adult. So I realize that is just a tiny snippet, but I wanted you to be thinking about ways that you can be more you and hopefully be more comfortable in the circumstances in your family where you want to see some change. Where they are comfortable and a safe place to land, keep that going. That's awesome. And then if you want to affect change, that's the first place to start. I think we are going to have more discussions about family. It's really coming up a lot with my clients. It's definitely in my life quite a bit, and I think it's worth discussing because all of us have families and all of us need to make it work so that we're all loving each other as much as possible. So those are some thoughts for you today. I know you're busy, so I'm going to let you go. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them for me below, and I will get back with you. Thanks so much. See you next time.